So for bending strings, we'll call this bending the 4. So in your minor pentatonic shape, the 4, 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 1 flat 3 4. We bend it a lot. And so that's one of the questions I hear a lot, which notes to bend. And then theoretically, if you think of bending 4 up, you're going to get either a flat 5 or a 5. And if you bend it a whole step, you're bending up to the 5, which is the least harmonic tone. Doesn't interfere with anything, and so that's why it sounds good, if you will, because there's no conflict. Thus, it's safe to bend to 4. If you bend to 4 to half note, or slide up a half step, you want. It's a different sound, and that's your blue note, or one of them. So you want to practice bending your 4, and I would do it in a couple of areas to start out with. One would be just right out of your minor pentatonic, and the second would still be out of your minor pentatonic, imagine that, but you're going to hold it a little differently, and so you're going to put your index on flat 7, if you're in A, there's your flat 7, your index on flat 7, your ring on 1, thus your index would play flat 3, because there's 1, right, and a step and a half, flat 3, and 4 with your ring, just like 4 with your ring when you're in your traditional shape, is the same thing. It's taking the 4 up a half step, and coming back to 1. There's 1, right? Flat 3. And so practice, or to practice, which takes time and is difficult, but practice knowing the distinction between bending a flat 4 to a flat 5, and the distinction of bending a whole step. And the way to check that is just to play a 5 after you bend. And we know a 5 is there. You kind of hear how it goes above and below. But it gives you something to gauge if you're bending a whole step. So work on that 4. And you can just do a traditional end on the root. And then practice up on the first string. There again, you're bending your 4, right? Well, there's 4 because there's A, and you go whole, half, and there's your 4. And of course, you have an E to check whether you're bending a half step or a whole step. But you end the same way by going to flat 3 and 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 1, starting on 4, which if you descend a whole step, you're down on your minor 3rd. Same here, if you descend a whole step, you're on your minor 3rd, there's A, whole half, minor 3rd, and ending on your root, just like you were down here. That should sound semi-familiar. I'm white and have a Strat that sounds a little like Stevie Ray. I'm not trying to necessarily. It's just a blues thing that works. That's why we do it. So practice bending the 4. Don't worry about vibrato, but if you can throw some on. But whatever it is, bend it a half a hole, go flat 3, root. Up here 4, same thing, flat 3, root. And then you can ascend, root, flat 3, 4, doing a trill kind of thing, or a half step and back. Playing the same lick in just 2 different places. So you get a lot of mileage out of it. Give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions.